Do you wish to still proceed without an attorney?
I just want to know, where do you get your powers? Are you an Article
proceed?
3 judge or an Article 6 judge?
Ever wondered what happens when somebody decides that laws just don't apply to them because they've copyrighted their own name? Yeah, me neither. So let's find out, shall we? I mean, what's not to love about seeing a sovereign citizen getting absolutely destroyed in a courtroom?
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe.
Court does call the case of the people versus Daniel Magoo.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ashton Lobby for the people.
Sir, state your name.
I'm here on a special appearance, Your Honor. Magoo is Easy Elastical Trust, registered in Jackson County, on a case number 2522246.
Okay, is your name Daniel Magoo?
Your Honor, that is the name you seek, and it is copyrighted and trademarked.
Well, another sovereign citizen has rolled into court armed with the groundbreaking legal theory that their name is a copyrighted entity and therefore laws just evaporate around them. But last time I checked, existing in society generally comes with adhering to society's rules. This isn't a game of Monopoly, pal, where you can just declare yourself exempt because you own a top hat.
Ms. Magoo, are you represented by an attorney, or do you wish to be represented by an attorney on these matters?
Well, this video just got more interesting. His name is actually Mr. Magoo.
I am not.
Do you wish to be?
Nope. Not at this time.
Of course he wants to represent himself. I mean, try finding a real lawyer who's idiotic enough to think that they can actually defend one of these sovereign citizen morons in a real court of law.
You are under arrest.
I'd better call Saul. Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do.
Let me then do this. You have two cases before this court, one being the case ending, let me get the full case number 25F40523. In that case, sir, the complaint does allege that on March 27, 2004, you committed the offense of operating while intoxicated. Do you understand what you're charged with?
I do not.
Well, let me help you out then, Mr. Magoo. You were driving pissed up, which is not only illegal, but it also makes you a complete scumbag who, in my opinion, should not pass go, nor should you collect $200. You should be going straight to jail.
You do not understand
There is
that?
no eyewitnesses or corroborating witnesses at all.
How can that possibly be true? Because if there were no eyewitnesses, then you wouldn't be in court in the first place, would you? But let's say that there weren't. Eyewitnesses aren't always necessary for charges to be brought anyway. You were driving drunk. There is literally no excuse that any judge in the world would accept, let alone the absolute garbage excuses you were going to try and use as a sovereign citizen.
In the case 25F30979, in that case, sir, you are before a complaint that alleges that on or about July 3rd of 2025, count one is fleeing and eluding fourth degree.
Added on by the
Police
prosecutor's
officer.
office after the
Sir,
fact.
that is a felony, punishable by
Malicious
up to 2 years
prosecution.
incarceration and a $2,000 fine plus court costs, mandatory suspension by the Secretary of State.
My Secretary of
two
State, anything
is
is canceled. I have no contracts with the state of
Vehicle,
Michigan.
that is a misdemeanor
This
charge.
is a matter of trust, Your Honor. This is a matter of trust.
Yeah, when all else fails, accuse everyone else of malice. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I am protected under
a $100 fine plus court cost. Count three on that complaint alleges operating a motor vehicle without security. That is a misdemeanor, not punishable by not more than 1 year incarceration and not less than $200 nor $500 fine plus court cost. Count four is operating while license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor.
all of my registrations are through the federal government. I have federal government
$5 fine
registration.
plus
I do
court
not have
costs.
contracts with the
Vehicle could
state.
be subject to mobilization.
I don't think the judge is listening to you, pal. It's almost as if he couldn't give a crap that you're trying to sue him and is caught for malicious prosecution. Now, malicious prosecution is a civil wrong that occurs when somebody initiates or continues legal proceedings against another person without proper justification and with an improper motive. And those proceedings ultimately end in the victim's favour. But something tells me that this strategy isn't going to work out for this guy. I mean, it doesn't really get much more cut and dried than having a police officer catch you drunk behind the wheel and then have to pursue you when you try to escape. Doesn't sound that malicious to me.
Count 5 on that complaint alleges refusal to obey refusal to
I have an international driver's
police
permit.
officer. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days, $100 fine plus court costs. I would indicate to the defendant the same admonishments regarding the perils in representing oneself that I stated in the other case also apply to this case.
Were you served your
And
notice
if
and
the
summons yet, Your Honor?
wishes to have counsel appointed, the court would consider or would appoint counsel to represent him in this matter, and he apparently wishes to proceed.
Were you served your notice
Having
and summons
notice
for federal
of
court?
the charges, sir, do you wish to still proceed without an attorney?
I just want to know, where do you get
Do
your
you
powers?
wish
Are
to
you an Article
proceed?
3 judge or an Article 6 judge?
Why does it matter? State courts handle most cases, focusing on state laws, while federal courts deal with specific federal laws. And for a state court arraignment, Article 3, which establishes the federal judiciary, and Article 4, the supremacy clause, which binds states to federal laws, are not directly relevant to the arraignment's procedure anyway. But in my humble Welsh opinion, it does seem a little hypocritical when you consider the fact that sovereign citizens think that the laws don't apply to them at all. So for them to even ask that question is, well, it's nuts.
Where are
Do
your
you
vested
wish to
powers? Can you
proceed
answer
without
that?
an attorney?
You can't even answer
look
me
it
what your
up.
powers are.
You can look it up.
No, you guys disconnected my access to any kind of law library or anything. You are an Article 6 judge under the Michigan Constitution. You have no authority to deprive me of my rights.
If you know, why ask? You can't honestly believe that you're going to be able to trip up a judge. He's probably had more interactions with sovereign citizens than you have.
This is a matter of a federal matter now, Your Honor, under case number 2511226, under the Eastern District of Michigan, under the Honorable Mark A. Goldsmith and Magistrate Judge David R. Grand. This
Do you
is
wish to have-
this is
do you
this
wish
there
to
is
have
no
a preliminary-
there is no proceeding here, Your Honor.
There is no proceeding. Oh, there's a proceeding.
Well, malicious prosecution is proceeding.
Okay, very good. Do you wish to have a preliminary examination?
There's no proceeding, Your Honor. This is a matter that should be stayed.
What a legal scholar Mr. Magoo is, armed with his Google search results, attempting to school a judge on constitutional law. Seriously, it's truly inspiring, isn't it? Especially when he clearly has no idea about the basics. And as far as a stay, well, judging by the look on the judge's face, you will be having a stay. In jail. Don't drop the soap.
Your Honor, I don't know if the defendant has received all discovery in this matter as he is representing himself, so I would request a probable cause date, potentially.
Because you guys send it.
Yeah, and who my phone
Probable cause
calls?
Conference. You know what?
Who?
You're gonna have to stop interrupting. I will give you an opportunity. You've been before me before. I will give you an opportunity to say whatever you want to say. But I'm not gonna have you interrupt me, and I'm not gonna have you interrupt the people when they're talking. As long as you were saying.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have to there's video evidence in addition to the paper discovery. I've got to make arrangements with Lieutenant Arnett to work on, so it may take just a bit longer. I would potentially look at the 7th, maybe, if the court would have entertained that, and then I will wait to hear down by when the time is appropriate.
I have got to keep my eyes on YouTube so I know when this actually goes to trial. Now, some of you might remember that a few minutes ago, this strange little man said that he had an international driver's permit and that his license was cancelled, which is apparently, or at least according to him, a magical third category that somehow makes him immune to, well, driving laws. And the international driver's permit, that's not a get out of jail free card, even for sovereign citizens. So in this instance, it would be like bringing a ruler to a knife fight and expecting to win by measuring the blade.
Your Honor, I do think it's important that the court have some additional information, and I would have to ask the court to revisit the issue of bond. First and foremost, I think it's important the court know that the facts alleged in the newest case, the 25F30979, it does include the fact that the Michigan State trooper who pulled the defendant over noted in his police report that the defendant had a license on his vehicle that indicated he was a diplomat.
Oh, that's a bit naughty, Mr. Magoo, isn't it? Pretending to be a diplomatic, consular, or other official of a foreign government is a federal offence. And while having the plates without further fraudulent action might fall under different state laws regarding false plates or impersonation, the federal statute covers the intent to deceive about diplomatic status. I can't wait to hear his excuse for this one.
In that he refused to identify himself, he refused for quite a bit of time. Additional units had to be brought to the scene from the sheriff's department in order to, for lack of a better term, the situation, and ultimately they were able to identify him as the defendant, Daniel Magoo.
Funny how Mr. Magoo failed to mention any of that when the judge asked him if he understood why he was in court in the first place.
The concern with that goes along with the other case, which is an OWI. It is charged as a third. I will note that it is a true fourth, to the best of my understanding, so there does appear to be an alcohol problem going on. And I also think it's important for this court to know, because I don't know that the court knows, the defendant has a third new case, telecommunications malicious use with a domestic relationship.
So what you're saying then is that this Mr. Magoo guy is a bit of a dick.
He's also been set $10,000, 10% in that matter. But I think
Where is the case out of?
that case is out of 14B, Your Honor, before Judge Washington.
A co-defendants with the federal case that you guys are both in, and this is a conflict of interest as both of you guys are defendants in my federal case.
Conflict of interest? Yeah, right. You're a drunk driver with no valid driver's license, and I'm gonna guess and say no registration or insurance either. And the cherry on top is that it sounds very much like you also have an ongoing case for making threats. I wonder if they were malicious threats.
Go ahead.
I also understand, Your Honor, that there is a municipal case out of Canton Township that was set for a jury trial in April of this year, where the defendant failed to appear, and there were jurors and veneer that had been brought in. And I bring all of this up to say, Your Honor, that the people are concerned about the defendant's ability to remain law-abiding.
I mean, we could have told you that, and none of us are lawyers. Or I wonder if I would need lawyers watching me. Let me know in the comments.
Because I'll also note for the record that at the time that the new resisting, obstructing, fleeing, eluding case, a telecommunications malicious use case came up, he was in bench warrant status before Judge Slay, is my understanding, for refusing to come after the case here had been over, refusing to appear in person.
So what you're saying then is that this isn't the first time this bloke's been before a judge. I wonder if any of the Sov Cit arguments have ever actually been successful. And no, we're not measuring the success rate by the amount of laughter that those claims generate. I mean, has any judge ever said, case dismissed? There's no way I can beat this guy. He's just too smart when it comes to the law.
I say all of that to say this. I do think that $10,000 is too low. And I also am going to request a scram tether, because this is an OWI fourth alleged, as well as a GPS tether, given his history of failure to appear and failure to comply with court regulations. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is the bench warrant before Judge Slay still out?
She has bond denied in her case now.
His bond's been denied in that.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Got it.
Now, I'm not going to pretend that sovereign citizens are my area of expertise, because they're not, but I do a lot of research before I talk about any topic, because otherwise I'd be no better than the people I was talking about. But I am a little bit confused as to why this guy was even not already in jail to be able to drive a car without a license while drunk, and then, yeah, I don't get it. Now, I know I'm not American, and just that seems to upset some people when I talk about sovereign citizens, but why isn't he already in jail?
Anything you'd like to say?
Anything to do with the state of Michigan are void ab initio for a matter of law. I have an canceled driver's license, and I have an international driver's permit. And that also relates to the Canton case that they're trying to stick me for a driving unlicensed suspended citation, in which that I have an international driver's permit.
And would that be an international driver's permit like the one I showed on screen earlier on? In fact, here it is again, which requires you to hold a valid driver's license.
All of my matters, including the vehicle that I'm registered under, are registered to the federal government, not the state, under the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. All of these charges are frivolous and a part of a long pattern of malicious prosecution by Ms. Landy, the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office, and quite frankly, you, Your Honor.
I know, and he looks absolutely terrified about it, doesn't he?
Hearing argument regarding bond, the court does believe that it was an abuse of discretion given the circumstances of this defendant to set his bond at the $10,000 figure. After hearing argument, viewing the file, the court does believe that not only does the defendant pose a risk to the public,
No
I
victims.
do believe that the defendant is a risk of flight given those circumstances and has indeed, or at least is charged in this case, refused to obey or fled and eluded.
That was added on afterwards.
Police
The police officer did not report that
No
at all.
reasons the court, given those circumstances, would in each case raise the defendant's bond, grant the people's motion. Defendant's bond in each matter is set in the amount of $50,000 cash here. Thank you.
Nice. 50 grand. Oh. So, what have we learned from today's video? Well, if you want my opinion, I've got no clue. Maybe you do. So let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you again on Friday. Love you. Bye.
Out of everything that's on the internet, this is the best thing.
You know what somebody called me in the comments section under yesterday's video? A shameless self-promoter. Me, creakyblinder.com.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna